Hello everybody, this is Tim with TD Sports Cards. Uh, One of the little series I'm going to do this week is a 92 Topps Stadium Club for baseball. I got series 1, 2, and 3, and I wanted to try to pull out some Hall of Famers, some grading candidates. This was it's a cheaper box, but it's always looking for the good Hall of Famers because I do a lot of grading, so we could just see what can be pulled out of here and some of the rookies. So let's get right to it. And I did open some packs. I wanted to see, even though the box has some wear on it, as you can see on these. I wanted to see how good the shape the cards were in before I did it on camera and everything. And they're actually really good shape. Packs are really good shape. Actually, it takes a minute to open them up. So we're going to do a video, just open them up, and go from there. But I'll go through and I'll review the first packs that I've done so far. I'll just kind of thumb through it here. There's a Dante Bichette, Bo's dad, Mark Wohlers, Quirk, Dave Rigetti, De Leon, Tim Jones, Andy Allenson, Pete O'Brien, DeCenzo, Dave Bergman. Scott Erickson, he had a pretty good little career for a while. Then he started having arm trouble, if I remember right. Lee Smith, Hall of Famer, so that's a pretty good one. Just looking at the corners, everything look really, really, really good. Now these aren't rookie cards, but these a lot of people like to collect sets and everything for certain players. And then there's obviously a lot of PSA sets, so that's why I look for the Hall of Famers, and if it's possible to get them graded. Okay, Edgar Martinez just went in the Hall of Fame. Pretty cool card. He's just sitting back chilling. Dave Valley. Willie McGee. He had a pretty good career. I remember him more with the Cardinals. Then he was on a bunch of teams though. Milt Kayer, Calvin Jones, Barry Larkin. Obviously Hall of Fame. Good looking card. Jay Buhner, Mark Gardner, Walt Terrell. He kept giving up homers. That's why he didn't last long. Sean Bosky. Big prospect, but he had arm troubles. Jeff Blauser played for the famous 80s Braves. Or 90s Braves. They were just killing it. Dave Island, Mark Lee, Harold Reynolds, TV analyst, solid player. Dave Henderson. He was very consistent. Been on a lot of teams, but he was really good. John Candelaria. All right, then we got Gino Petrelli, good catcher. Trevor Wilson, lefty. Tony Fernandez, very, very good player. Mike Sharperson, he was a utility man. Devon White, he was a Gold Glove center fielder. Harold Reynolds again. Craig Worthington was a utility guy. Vance Parrish, Felix Furman was a utility guy. Spike Owen was a utility guy. Jerry Brown was a utility guy. Wilkerson. Cecil Epsy. Ron Karkovice. He had some solid years. Joe Girardi. There's your coach. Your manager. Andy Van Slyke. He had some really, really good years. The Pirates were really competitive. Paul Gibson, lefty, kept giving up home runs. It's one thing I remember about certain guys. They just kept giving up home runs. Jim Leyritz, pretty good career. Kurt Manwarning. Another Lee Smith. Pat Kelly. Third Edgar. It's one thing I did notice. Willie Frazier. John Kruk, good player. Pat Borders. Jimmy Key. Mike Boddicker. Island, Mark Lee. Alright, so we're going to get into the rest of this box. As you can see, like I said, it's actually pretty solid. The packs are all pretty tight. So, you got to bear with me here. I don't want to tear up the corners and everything. You never know what's in any of the packs. Alright. Now what they do have in here is they do have an insert card called the BARS, Baseball and Analysis Reporting System. So that was kind of something they messed around with or were trying to start with back then even. They just got more into it nowadays. But Larry Anderson. Good thing about this is this box. I opened one box before. I can't remember what it was, and they were sticking. So Rob Deere, big slugger for my Tigers. Was it Guzman, Bowen, Erickson again, Lee Smith, Kelly. Here's another Edgar. I'm gonna have some grading candidates for Edgar. Frazier, Kruk again. Borders, Key, Boddicker, Island. Alright. And then, so you had your junk wax in the late 80s and early 90s. This is one of the, kind of like the junk wax ones. But it's, I like the card because even then they were great pictures. I mean, you just look at that. It's Bobby Thompson. But it's just a great picture. And they still do them. Stadium Club, that's one of the things they are known for. Okay. Got Gerard Clark. Alright, Hensley Mullins, big prospect, slugger. He had a hard time hitting for average and played good outfield though. Lenny Webster. Eric Yoeling, he was a big time prospect coming up. Didn't stick around that long. Langford, same thing. It was Langford, McGee. Those were how I remember St. Louis. Manny Lee, Alasuna, Jimmy Lovato had some good years. Teddy Aguirre had some good years. Jimmy Jones, Mike McFarland, Omar, great player. Rennie Velarde, David Howard. Alright, so I can see opening these are going to take a few minutes here. So I might go through on the next box and just open them ahead of time. You guys might enjoy it better than that. If you think that's a better idea, just leave me a comment. Dane Tartable, Van Slyke. There's the big BARS card. Paul Gibson, checklist. Mark Lee, Harold Reynolds, Robinson. Gedman, Cochran, Holman, Wardick, Terry Mulholland. He was a great pitcher for a while. Kent Herbie, or Herbeck. Yep, I knew him as Herbie. Rance Mullinax. Alright. Alright. Here we got Dave Stieb. He was a good pitcher. He had some really good years. Rich Leone, Paul O'Neill. He was Cincinnati and then went to the Yankees. Did some work there and he was a really solid outfielder and really consistent hitter. He was pretty good. Wally Joyner, he was around the block for a little bit, but he was mainly known with the Angels. Bud Black, now a manager. Tom Foley, that's kind of a cool looking card though. Expos uniform. Chili Davis. Briley, Darren Lewis, he was like kind of like a Longoria now. Bill Duran, March Portugal. Todd Van Poppel, he was a big prospect. threw 100 miles an hour. I think, if I remember right, coming out of high school. Big player. Just kept having arm troubles, and he had a couple good years. Not dominant, but he had, for the times he wasn't hurt. And then they started throwing him out of the bullpen, and did pretty well. And just more arm troubles. Yep, I'm just going to take these right out of here. There we go. Try to make some of this a little bit easier. But yeah, this is a good set of boxes. So if all three of these are like this, the cards should be in good shape. There's a Hall of Famer here on the back here. All right. There's Ramon Martinez. You know about Ramon. Stubbs. Kevin Bass. Dan Javier. Moda. Carlos Quintana. Bernie Williams. Good player. Not Hall of Fame quality, but he was a hell of a player. Alasuna. Frazier. Kruk. Pat Borders. Kiros. Brian Harper was a good consistent hitting catcher back then for a long time. Darren Jackson, and there's Paulie. It's a good card. I said these things were definitely in good shape as far as not getting into. Alright. Steve Lake. Edmund Merker, he was a good pitcher. There's Eki. Yeah, that one super great relieving season. It was what, .87 or something like that. Kevin Moss, big prospect. Didn't really pan out that much though. Lionel Merced. Chili Davis, Cochran, Gedman, Holman, Bordick, Olander, Tim Leary, Bergman, Lake. But yeah, you never know when guys come up with these big prospects and then just not get it at the major league level. Another monitor. And that happens. Then you get guys that are nobodies that just keep working, get a little bit of luck, do some big hits, able to stay up, and then they actually start producing. Kendall, Mel Hall, Marvin Freeman, Roberto Reyes, Carlos Quintana, Hamilton. He was a solid outfielder, good offense guy, speedy guy. Bat is 280, 290, got on base. He was pretty good player. Carl Rhodes, another big prospect, but he didn't really stick around that long. Dean Palmer, big slugger. Texas always comes up with the big sluggers. Mark Davis had pretty good pitching years. Sampson, Pete O'Brien, Blauser, Gerald Alexander, and another Molly. These packs are in great shape. You gotta fight with them to open them. Don't want to tear them up though and bend up all the corners, and all of a sudden that'd be one of the big cards or something. Brian Bohannon, Tommy Gregg, Checklist, Jeff Coat, Stan Royer. There's Albert Bell. There we go. That's a pretty cool picture of him. Yeah, try to get it focused for you. But it's a pretty good picture. We got Ricky Jordan. He was solid. He played football too. Andy Bush, Penny Harris, Tommy Green, Matt Noakes, Schofield was a utility guy for a long time. DeCenzo, Bergman, Hollins. Yeah, this video's gonna be longer when I expected to just open this up. Alright. Trey Steinbach. Kenny Maldonado. Kevin Brown. That was one of his teams he played for. Brian Gilkey was a solid player for a while. Shane Mack was solid for a while. Thurman was like your defensive speedy guy. Young, Roberto Alomar. A little Hall of Fame action going on there. Valero, Greg Canterite. Mike Sosha, good player for a long time. Lasky, Blauser. Lee Stevens was a slugger. Dave Hansen. Excuse my voice. Guess I'm dry and I left my water in another room. I noticed it after I got going. I was like, oops. Kevin Reimer. He was another one that stuck around for a while. Slugger. But he had a problem with defense. Ricky Bones. Checklist. Larry Anderson. Dan Geckler. Jesse Barfield. He was a slugger. Vince Coleman. He was one of my favorite players when I was younger. He was a speedy guy. You know, he was stealing, what, 70, 80, 90 stolen bases a year. Can't remember. I think maybe once or twice stole 100 bases in a year. He was awesome when he first came up. No one could like throw him out. Besides for Carney Lansford, Jimmy Jones, Goldfield May, John Legas, and Pagnazzi. Yeah, Vince Coleman, Ricky Henderson, Tim Raines. That was the 80s and 90s. Those were your main speed guys. It was a great time if you like the bunt and steal game. Guzman, Bowen, Reggie Harris, Nate Turtleball. He was a good player for a long time. Ken Hill, Vaughn Calderon. He was a good player for a while. There's Brett. George Brett. Jose De Leon. Boldorn, utility. Portugal had some good years. Henneman had a long career. I can't remember if he's Hall of Fame or not. I think he's just short. He just had a long career for a while. That Candiati was a good pitcher for a while. There's Erickson again. Yep, I grew up with the Tigers, being from Michigan, so it's just part of the deal. That's all I went through. But my favorite players back then were the Sweet Lou and Tram. We got Scott Bradley, Brett Maine, Montgomery, Burkett, Walt Wise, Navarro, Gale, Jones, Schofield, Herbie, Monix, Fanny, Lanford, Daniel Lee, Greg Bradley. As you can see, obviously, this is a shorter set with a lot of cards, but there's still cards we haven't hit yet that are out there. Like I say, there's Tukes. There's Wangan. Good player. Good player. I liked him. B.J. Surhoff was around for a while. He was a good hitting catcher back in the day. Lonnie Smith played a long time. A lot of different teams, but he always produced, even in his older age. Mackie Sasser. Darren Lewis. Duran. Sampson. McFarland. Omar. Velarde. Howard. Foley. Bernie again, and Elisuna. Yeah, Bernie Williams was just one of those solid players back then. I liked him. Kind of, they're trying to make Hickson that kind of a 20, 30 home run guy. Bat your 280. Play solid defense. Tall center fielder. That was kind of like what Bernie Williams did. There's Benito Santiago. Bobby Rose. Greg Harris. Hanson. Willie Frazier. Trying to get this thing to focus consistently. There's Tommy Green, Noakes, Van Poppel, Diego, Leiter, Bosky, Blauser, Stevens, and Hanson. Yep, so there's going to be a lot of repeats. But got Brett, a couple Molitors, some Bisquells, Fernandez, a few Lees, Lee Smiths. So not bad. I can't remember what's in. I think 2 is the one with like Bonds or something. Simmons, Felder. Here go, new ones we haven't got yet. There's a Kevin Mitchell. Nice looking card. All black. It'd be hard to grade. Marquise Grissom was another one of the speedy guys back then. Not as good as the other ones, but he was good. Pretty good outfielder. Barfield, Coleman, Otto, Seitzer, Carney, Cerruti, Sofield. Drake May was another big prospect that never produced the way he should have. Now he was like I said, so you never know in prospects. So if you collect prospects, it's one of those things where you just have to get a little bit of everything and hope that a third of them turn out to cover your costs, and you hope that you get one or two bangers on stuff that you collect. Especially if you do a lot of if you're doing the grading or whatever. Now, if you're collecting it just for like team sets or whatever, then obviously at that point it doesn't matter. But any of your cards that have any sort of value, you want to try to keep in, put them in sleeves and top loaders. When you start putting them in and out of binders, it starts killing the corners. It depends on. There's a Mike Maddox. Wrong Maddox. Eddie Whitson starts killing the corners, and that was Brett. And then it comes down just to your set, anyways. But everybody teach their own. Everybody has their way of doing them. Kenny Erickson again. Well, it's good. We get every now and then we get a different pack that we haven't got yet. It's hard to believe it. Only part of the way through. So I'll try to speed this up a little bit. Right, there's Pip Roberts. Wally Backman. There you go. That's a cool looking one. Joe Carter. Toronto Symbol and Bat. That was pretty cool. Dennis Oil Can Boyd. He was on several teams, but he always produced, even his later age. Another Edgar. Buhner. Yura. Anderson. Jimmy Key. Boddicker. Allen. And Mark Lee. Yep, some of my favorite players from back then was like Sandberg, Maddox, Clemens was one of my all-time ones. Ricky is one of my top 3 or 4 PCs. There I got Hatcher, Schaefer, Dobson, Bill Swift. He had a couple really good years. Baines again, Dave Henderson, Valeria Lewis, Mark Gardner, Terrell, Mulholland, Herbie again. Molinix and Daily. Alright. So we're half the stack down, guys. So I'm going to try to pick this up a notch and go a little faster here. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot more box breaks like this. See if there's any slab candidates here and there, which I know in those, the Topps ones, there's definitely some slab cams, because there's some good stuff in there that comes in every box that I'm looking out for. And if you can get one of those finest refractors of one of the like Griffey, like a certain one at Griffey, the PSA 10, that's like I was just looking at it tonight, it was like $160 on eBay. So pretty cool stuff. Farland, Bisquell, Velarde. But there's other ones in there. I mean, obviously we're gonna have Ripken and Bond stuff. So Devon White, good outfielder, pretty solid for a long time. Jeff Russell's a good reliever. Dante Wohlers, David Howard. There's Bell. Okay, Jordan, Bush, Lenny Harris, Tommy Green, Oaks, Pop Gallego. Yep, so this would be one of those that just repetitive boxes. So I think it's 2 is the one that's a really good one. So that'll make it more interesting when we do that box. So I apologize if it seems like we're not pulling on any killer ones. Getty, Valley, White, Bichette, Gary Thurman, little speedy guy, Dave Hollins. He was another one that he played for a while. Just didn't do that much. Anthony, if I remember right, he lost 20-something in a row over a period of a couple of years. He just could not win a game for a while. He always gave up 3 or 4 runs early and then just seemed to lose. Aguilera, Carteret, played for the Mets too, if I remember right. Sorry, Eric Karros, Brian Harper. Yeah, Young had just a rough career. He didn't stay in the league that long because he couldn't win any games, couldn't hold anybody. Wohlers, Franklin Stubbs, Chuckless, Kevin Jones, Jeffco, Hanson, Garfield Coleman, Kyle Seitzer, Lansford, Cerruti, Olander, May, and Hillegas. Yeah, my favorite teams back then were obviously the Tigers, but I like the Oakland A's. Remember that with Canseco, McGuire, had Lansford, Steinbach. That was a good group. Turnbull, Nosey, Ken Hill, so Brett, Leon, Jones, Portugal, Henneman, Lancaster, another Roberto. So I should get some slab cams out of this. Especially the Robertos and Bretts and Molitors. So wasn't that bad. And these boxes, I think, was shipping. The shipping's what gets you on the cheaper boxes. Yeah, I think I was like $15 each because of the shipping. That's what it came down to, or something like that. Aguilera, Carteret, Sosha, Eric Karros, Harper, Darren Jackson, Lake, Quintera, Coleman again, Henry Cotto. I remember years ago, I used to play a lot of Stratomatic baseball, and some of these guys like Cotto, he would bat his 280, but his on base was high. So I liked getting him and throwing him in the ninth slot, just because. Tony Fernandez, Ron White, there's Carney, there's Rudy, Olander Leary, Olander Molitor that's not on the back, Ken Hill, George Brett. That was a good pack for those. Alright, looks like we're getting. Ooh, that was a sticky pack. Alright, there's Dante, Wars Quirk, Dave Rigetti, Bales, Hewlett, Jeff Treadway. He was a good player, a good solid player. That's part of the Braves dynasty there. Dan Belinda, Robin Ventura. Yeah, that was his 30-year card, though. Kim Braggs, Hal Morris, Harris Morton. Alright, got 6 packs left, guys. Hang in there with me. We'll get a little bit of changing of the names in the packs. Oh, here we go. There's a Ripken. Card number 1. Alright, Dave Valley, McGee, Clear, Calvin Jones, Barry Larkin again. Alright, here's a batch that we haven't seen yet. Mike Masuna, recent Hall of Fame, Kevin Gross, Todd Hudley. He played for a long time. He just kept hitting homers, and he was a good plate caller. Chris Hoyles, he was a banger as a catcher. Brett Butler played for a long time. Great leadoff man during that time. Scott Hewlett, Luis Mercedes. Remember Luis Mercedes? I used to have a bunch of his cards. He became a bust. Great looking Ripken card. Good shape. Alright, guys. 5 left. Oop. This one's sticking a little bit. Part of it's just because it's so new that I'm not afraid of pulling off the finish, because it's just so. These cards are just in great shape. Joel Skinner. See, Jim Abbott. He was one arm. Was big with the Angels. I lived in California for a while. It was Abbott, Langston. I can't remember the other ones. I have to really think of it. There's Larry Walker. He's the one that they keep saying is borderline for Hall of Fame. David Cone, and that's David Cone hitting. That's a pretty cool card. Kip Gross. There we go. That's one of the ones we wanted, actually. Neon Dion. That's one of the ones we actually want out of this. Greg Olson. Fletcher. Big Ben. He had a pretty good career. Mark Lewis. And I might miss a couple Hall of Famers in here that slipped in, but I think I'm getting just about everybody. So we're good. Yeah, looks like this last batch might have been the outside of the box or something. I got a little bit of temperamental. Wangan. That was a BJ. Surhoff. Lonnie Smith. Sasser. Caminiti. Jack Clark. Mason. Luis Quinones, yeah, he was a great utility guy. I remember I even pitched a little bit. David Justice, that's a card we haven't got yet. That's pretty cool. There's Big Cecil. Losses. Salazar, Abner, Ron Anderson. Yeah. Like I said, there's just some cards in here we just haven't really got that yet. Do I have the whole set? I can't remember. There's probably always a few that you got, so you got to get 2 or 3 boxes in order to actually get the sets. Alright, what do we have here? Bobby Rose, Eric Hansen, Bear, Dave Madigan. Guess we got some new ones here. Steve Avery, it's a good card. Sam Horn, Devereaux, Felix, Ozzie Gann, he was awesome. Great fielder. And Jeff King. Yeah, Ozzie Gann and Ozzie Smith. 2 really good fielders of their time. And obviously you had Ripken. He was on another level by himself during that time. Home run hitting shortstop. Now that's kind of like common, like Felder. Alright, so we got new cards here. Except for Mitchell, Grissom. Alright. Yeah, there's a new one. Francisco De La Rosa. Greg Graybeck, he was a good utility guy. He was one of the better utility guys during that time. Steve Olin. Gene Larkin. Scott Lewis. Mark Grace. Oh, there we go. If you're a Cubby fan. Mike Flanagan. Scanlon. Orton. Last pack, everybody. Alright. Let's see what we get out of this one. This one's the most stickiest. Alright. So this one's going to be one of those half a bricks, maybe. Nah, it should still be alright. There's Rodriguez. Don Paul. Mike Maddox. Woodson. Gullickson. He was a journeyman for a while. His problem was home run balls. There's McDowell. Jack McDowell. He was one of the better pitchers during that time. On Baron Gare. There's James. There's Rhino. So that's cool. So this stack here, to the end of it, we kept coming up with ones we haven't got yet. They were big ones. Faerga, I liked him. Witten. Juan Samuel was around for a long time. Cecil Espy, Kirk Weiss, and Joe Girardi. Alright, so we'll do a quick recap of some of the good ones. I'll just run right through them. It was out of this 1992 Stadium Club Topps Series 1. I think we got just about all the big names that was in this. Sandberg, Grace, Avery, Fielder, Justice, Wangan, Neon Dion, David Coden, hitting, Ripken, Mussina, Larkin, Brett, Molitor, Tony Fernandez, Alomar, Brett, Alomar, Bell, Bisquell, Tony Fernandez, Edgar Martinez, E. Smith, Joe Carter, Brett, Bisquell, Wangan, put Henneman in here. Brett, Alomar, Bell, Molitor, the Ekman, Paul Molitor, Bisquell, Martinez, Lee Smith, Tony Barry, Edgar, and Lee. So yeah, some of them we had like quite a bit of them. But overall, it was a good, solid box for the cheap. Like I said, I'll see how many of these I can send in and get graded. And I'm going to be doing Series 2 and Series 3 this week. So thank you all for joining. And if you can look me up on eBay down here and see what graded cards I have, and go from there. Thank you very much, everybody.